What's up everybody, welcome back to another Overwatch discussion video, and today there's a lot I want to talk about because for one, the Chengdu Overwatch League expansion team revealed their branding, so I'd like to give my opinion on that. Then after that we're taking a look at Overwatch League players apparently using Adderall before games, and then finally we're going to be talking about Kheprii joining Overwatch Contenders. So without wasting any more time, let's talk about the Chengdu Overwatch League team. So earlier this week, the Chengdu Overwatch League expansion team revealed their name, logo, and team-themed Overwatch League skins. So when first looking at their name, they decided to go with the name of Chengdu Hunters, and to be honest, I think that's a pretty cool name to have for an Overwatch League team. I'm not sure how you viewers feel about this, but I personally think that having the word Hunter in your team name makes you sound very threatening, because when I think of the word hunter, I think of someone that stalks his or her prey, someone that's a vicious killer, if you will. So overall, I think that Chengdu Hunters has a very nice ring to it, and it's very clean overall. I like it a lot. Moving on to their logo, they decided to go with a panda bear, and an angry panda bear at that. This guy looks very threatening, and I like the angry expression he has going on with his face. I know that when most people think of pandas, they think of a really cute bear, one that is not so threatening, and I'm sure that can be backed up by all of the really cute panda bear viral videos out there on the internet. But pandas actually can be very vicious, as they can be dangerous both when they're in captivity and when they're in the wild. I think that having a panda bear as Chengdu's Overwatch League team logo is a really good idea. For one, I think that this very threatening looking bear matches up perfectly with their name, but also pandas are mostly found in China, so I think when you look at this team's logo, you can kind of figure, yeah, this team is Chinese. They are representing China. And finally, when taking a look at their Overwatch League team themed skins, I think they're just okay. They're not my favorite, but they're definitely not my least favorite either. I'm not the biggest fan of the color yellow, but I do think that yellow and black doesn't look half bad. The only problem I really have with these skins are that when I look at them, they remind me of bumblebees. It makes me think that this team's name is the Chengdu Bumblebees, not the Hunters, you know what I mean? But I really can't complain too much because after all, their skins could look a lot worse. My overall opinion on the Chengdu Hunters branding is that it's pretty good. I like everything they have going on. I wish the colors were a little bit different, but I can't complain. Everything does look super clean with this team. The one big issue with this team is that they might not be very good. I really don't know much about their roster. I do know that Silk Thread, formerly from LA Valiant and LA Gladiators, is on the team, and he's an okay player. He's good, but not great. He's kind of like a Walmart version of Prophet, if you know what I mean. He's very flexible. He has a very deep hero pool, but the problem is he can't consistently make those crazy clutch plays that someone like Prophet can make. No offense to Silk Thread, I love the guy to death. He played on LA Valiant, which is my favorite team, for a short period of time during Overwatch League Season 1, but he can't play any hero at a super high level. He can play them all at a decently high level, but not high enough to the point where he can really compete against some of these other really strong flex players. And with that being said, I think I'm ready to move on from the Hunters and talk about our next subject at hand, which is Adderall usage in the Overwatch League. This has suddenly become a hot topic in like the last week or so, and I find it to be very interesting. But before I get into it, for those of you who don't know what Adderall is, basically it's a drug that releases some dopamine into your brain, and as a result it allows you to feel more alert, awake, and it gives you this laser focus that you may or may not need in your everyday life. This drug is usually prescribed to a person that needs treatment for their attention deficit disorder, or for someone that's struggling with narcolepsy, which gives you a lot of daytime drowsiness and you tend to just fall asleep at random times. Now then, with that out of the way, let's talk about how this topic suddenly became so popular. So, Taimu whipped up his stream one day earlier this week, and he talked about how he believed at least 20 people in Overwatch League Season 1 used Adderall before going on stage. Then later on in the week, AKM talked about how he really does think that people were using Adderall to help make them play better during Overwatch League games, as he thinks there were a lot of Widows who suddenly just got better out of nowhere. Like, they all of a sudden had this laser focus that they never had before. Hearing about this did not surprise me in the slightest, and I say that because Adderall usage has always been a thing in the world of esports. Just look at Call of Duty esports Adderall usage, or Adderall usage in CSGO esports. You'll find tons of articles and videos all about it, I guarantee you. Esports are very similar to other sports, in the sense that they're very fast paced and they require a crazy amount of focus. Pro Overwatch is the same way. You need to be locked into what you're doing, and you need to have insane laser focus if you want to have any sort of chance of defeating your opponent. I have very mixed feelings about pro Overwatch players using Adderall before games. Like, some people I understand actually do need to use Adderall in their daily lives because, again, some people have ADHD, otherwise known as attention deficit disorder. I think it's fine for a player in Overwatch League to use Adderall if it means they're able to treat their medical conditions, but if you don't have a medical condition, you're kind of just illegally getting this drug, then it's a different story. I understand that some people have a lot of nerves when they go on stage, and you feel very uncomfortable when you have hundreds of eyeballs just locked onto you. It makes it hard to play the game, but the thing is, you knew that this was going to happen. If you became a pro player, you'd have a crowd watching you every time you went on stage. You should be able to get used to the pressure of playing on stage in a 40-game season. And if you can't, then that's just sad. You should be able to adjust to something like that after all of that time. I know that some people came in late or whatnot, like Sinatra and Architect and Super. All these young players, they didn't actually play all 40 games, but still, you'd think that after like 10 or 15 games, you'd start to get used to that feeling of being on stage and being watched. I think that having to resort to something like Adderall just to be able to ignore all of that stuff going on is just sad, and I don't think it should be allowed at all. Unless you have a serious medical condition where you need to use Adderall, you should not be able to use it in Overwatch League. Just look at someone like Taimu for an example, or AKM, these guys that were talking about people using Adderall in Overwatch League. You don't see them using it, and look at them. They can lock in and focus easily, no problem at all. When they're on stage, they have that laser focus needed to make big plays on Widowmaker and McCree and these other high skill heroes. I know this sounds really harsh and that I really have no right to say a lot of this because I've never played an esport before, but come on. You should not be signing up for something like this if you can't handle the pressures of being on stage. Why would you bother making esports your profession if you can't handle that pressure? Whether you're playing an esport or a sport like football or basketball, you need to have a lot of mental fortitude, and if you don't, you're most likely going to crumble under the pressure. And I really don't think it's fair to take a drug just to try and even the playing field or to get an advantage over all of your opponents who do have that fortitude needed to handle the pressure of being on stage and to succeed under that pressure. I hope that in Season 2 or some point after, Overwatch League cracks down and makes some rules about drug usage. I'm not exactly sure what they could do, but I want them to figure something out. And with that being said, I'm ready to move on to the next subject, which is Kheprii. The popular Widowmaker player on Twitch is officially going pro in Overwatch. Unfortunately, he's not in Overwatch League or anything, but he's finally decided to go into Overwatch Contenders, which I never thought would happen because he himself said that there wasn't a good chance he'd be in Contender since it doesn't pay you or anything like that. And that makes plenty of sense to me because after all, the man just wants to be financially stable, and Contenders is something that can't really offer him that because, for one, like I said, Overwatch Contenders doesn't pay you money, and with that being said, since you're a pro player now, it's very hard to stream, and that's his main source of income, obviously. Luckily for Kheprii, it seems that he found a team that was willing to take him on and let him stream on a regular basis, and that team goes by the name of Global Esports. This team will be participating in GE Pantheon Korea Pacific Contenders, which means that good old Kheprii is going to be flying out to Seoul, South Korea, and he will be living there for a while as he participates in Overwatch Contenders. As a big fan of Kheprii, let me just say that I'm super proud of the guy. I never thought in a million years he'd join Overwatch Contenders. It just seemed like it was something he didn't want to do because he wouldn't get paid while doing it. But here we are now. Life is full of surprises, and I could not be more happier because if Kheprii pops off enough, then maybe he could make it into Overwatch League after spending a year in Korea. Who knows? Good luck to you, Kheprii, my man. I know you'll do great. You're an absolute beast at the game. It's time to show everyone what you're made of. And with that being said, I think I'm just about ready to wrap things up. So if you enjoyed this content today, make sure to hit that like button. Also, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, make sure to hit that bell and enable those notifications so you don't miss when my next Overwatch video goes up. And also make sure to let me know what you think of everything I talked about in the comment section. And that's it now. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.